Hi, my name is Ms. Dalera, and before we begin my presentation, I am going to show you my audience and introduce them. This is my sister Maddie and my sister Heavenly. And I am missing a third person, and my sister Maddie is under the age requirements due to the fact that I just had no one else to present to. So to begin my presentation, we are going to start by discussing tone of voice. For my goal for today's speech, it is for my audience to understand how tone of voice affects the way we communicate. Tone of voice differs in everything we speak on. It is often misinterpreted. Tone of voice is important when speaking to different people or in certain situations. Today we're going to discuss what is tone of voice, how tone of voice affects the way we communicate, and why tone of voice is important. Before we begin, I am going to show you a video clip from YouTube. It's just about a minute long. It explains tone of voice and gives examples.
Welcome to another Rapid Results Rapid Refresher. This topic, your tone of voice. The way we say something, known as the tone, can have a bigger impact than the words we choose to say. The tone determines the emphasis of the words. For example, the question, "Who did this?" can dramatically change the reaction of others depending on the way we say it. Compare these two tones. "Who did this?" and "Who did this?" People react differently to the way the tone is applied. So ensure that when speaking, you help the person you're speaking with by using the correct tone to support the words you use. And remember the key points of using your tone of voice. The tone has a greater impact than words. People's reactions are determined a lot by your tone. And you control the tone. Follow these tips and watch your communication skills take off.
Now going back to my presentation. Tone of voice is important in how we communicate in our everyday lives. It affects how something is said and how people interpret it. If the correct tone of voice isn't used correctly, it could look and sound bad on you. In this speech, I am going to discuss tone of voice and how it affects how we communicate in our everyday lives. I'm going to start off with what is tone of voice. In the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of tone of voice is the way a person is speaking to someone. Tone of voice is how you said something rather than what you've said to someone. It is often how we express ourselves through communicating. Now that we've discussed what it is, let's talk about how it affects what we say. Whatever the content is of what we're saying, our tone of voice is what actually communicates what we're feeling. Our tone of voice clarifies and conveys meaning through speech. Our tone of voice could often be misinterpreted if not used appropriately and correctly. Now that we've discussed how it affects what we say, let's talk about the importance of tone of voice. Why is it important? Tone of voice can help persuade and influence others when speaking. For example, let's say you are pitching an important pitch for a company. The way you present yourself through speaking, it can also help build that trust. Your tone of voice is often how others may perceive you. If you say something in a rude tone, people may think that you are also rude. And tone of voice is one of the key factors in successful communication. that kind of refers back to building trust, because if you can successfully communicate something, you could also successfully pitch a sale. So just to reiterate what we've discussed in today's speech, we've gone over what is tone of voice, how tone of voice affects what we say, and why tone of voice is important.